वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। The next word is after Achintyam, where without objectification you still can remove the ignorance about Atma, because Atma is not available as an object, but it is still available as self-evident I. Okay? So you can remove ignorance about its true nature with the help of Shastra. Okay? The next one is Avyapadeshya. Now this is something which is interesting. People literally translate it as undescribable. Okay? Now if it was undescribable, you would not be coming from so far away, right, and sitting and listening to Upanishads for so long. Okay? So that means what is meant by undescribable? And this is what, when people don't understand the whole tradition, what they say is, oh, it's undescribable, so therefore now you sit in meditation and wait for something to happen, right? Because they haven't understood what exactly this undescribable, what does it mean? Okay? It only means something very significant. Okay? So all the words that we have in our language are what?
Tangible.
Exactly, objects, right? Whether they are tangible objects or intangible objects. Like emotion is intangible, it's not physical, but you still have language, happy, sad, jealousy. You have all kinds of words for it, right? So that means that the words that we have are what? For objects, objects are what? Both physical and subtle. Okay? So therefore, now with this physical and subtle, the words which indicate limited things. Physical and subtle means limited things. How, that's the only thing we have in our language. So now your next question should be, how can limited words indicate limitless? If you don't ask questions, Vedanta will make you think about it. Right? This is Vedanta. It's not some superficial learning with all kind of, it makes you a deeply thinking person. Okay. So, now it is true, because all that we have in our language is about what we objectify, whether it is subtle or it is physical. Okay. Now, if we use some other words, can you use some other words altogether? You can't, because it will not convey anything to you. You cannot create new words because it will not convey anything. Okay? So that means using the words which have limited meaning, okay, you are obliged to use those words, but you can indicate, okay, something which is limitless. How? That process of usage of words is called Bhaga Tyaga Lakshana. Okay? What does it mean? When I say Atma is Sat or it is existence, what the word existence is something which is known to you. Right? The word existence, what does it mean for you?
I am.
Not only I am, the tree is, like this morning Surya was saying, right? River is, mountain is, okay? So that means there is an existence. Now this, when you understand the word existence about different things which are, okay? what kind of existence it conveys to you?
Physical.
Limited existence, right? Limited, right? Because I am, which is a limited existence, which is what? Existence which is limited in time and connected to a form. That's what existence means to you. Yes? Because when I say existence, you will ask me existence of what? Okay? So that means you want to connect that existence to a given object. Okay? And that object is going to exist in that form for a period of time. Right? Because every object is subject to change. Even though it is not very tangible, okay, over a period it all becomes tangible. Okay? You don't see your own changes from one day to the other, but you look at your photos, which are 10 years from now. From now and 10 years ago, you just went one day after the other. So from one day to the other, you don't see the changes, but over 10 years, what? You do see the changes. So therefore, every existence that there is within time and space framework. So that means it is limited framework. So now, I have to use the word existence to make you see that it is not something which is total absence of anything. Okay? Because generally what you think is when physical, subtle and causal is gone, what remains is nothing. Nothing in Sanskrit is called shunyata. Okay? So now I have to negate that idea and I have to say, no, it's not shunyata, it is not non-existence, it is existence. Okay? Now when I use the word existence, because then you create another meaning which is a limited existence, that I am this existence which is what? Within time and space. So existence, when we use the word, we generally mean existence in time and space. Okay? So now, using the same word, now I have to do a second operation. Okay? I said, yes, it is existence, but that limited connotation you have, I have to remove from that word existence. Okay? So then I say, hey, the existence that I am talking about is not existence of a thing within time and space, but it is the existence because of which the very concept of time and space comes into being. Right? So I start using your known words, then what do? I remove the limitations which are conveyed by those words, that whole methodology, right? The words are used in a very, they are not just loose words. I'm not giving a discourse just talking about things. I'm using the words in a very specific way so that you can see the reality. They're used very deliberately with a certain methodology to convey the meaning that it wants to convey.
So that means it's because of existence that time and space
come into being. Right? Yeah, exactly. Right? Because when I'm talking about awareness, right, the first the thing that exists, which depends upon awareness, first thing is what? All knowledge and all power. Okay. Now, from that all knowledge and all power comes what? When it is unmanifest, we call it what? Maya. When it becomes manifest, we call what? Time, space and object framework, which is what we call the universe. Okay? So this awareness that I am talking about, is it something which is not within time and space. It is something before which all knowledge was there, and all knowledge is truth is this awareness. So because of which the very time and space itself has come into being, it is not subject to time and space. Okay? So So that means I'm constrained to use limited words, but if I'm a good teacher, having used those limited words, I do a second operation of removing the limited connotation of those words and freeing the limited meaning that you have received in your mind. That is the teacher. And that is the inbuilt methodology of Vedanta Shastra. When I use the word consciousness, okay, it conveys a limited meaning to you. What is your first meaning of consciousness? Your mind. Exactly. So that means I have to use the word consciousness because I can't use some other word. I can use the word awareness, but even awareness you may think it is connected to your mind. Okay? So I have to first say yes, that's true. Right? But then I can't let you stop there. So then I have to say yes, but the consciousness that I mean is not something which is connected to your mind. Okay? Your mind is what? The subtle. And then there is a causal which makes your mind what it is. And awareness is what? The truth of the what? The causal, the subtle, and also the physical. Okay? So that means I take you from what? Using limited words first, then I take you what? Further to remove the limited connotation, and then I say it is not the normal meaning of the word consciousness, which means my being alive is how I generally use the word consciousness. My being alive is just a function of subtle. We saw Pancha Prana leaves the body is what? Dead. The consciousness that Vedanta is talking about is not what which makes body alive, because that is what? Pancha Prana function. The awareness that the chit, the word chit, does not mean just that you are alive. That is something which is not, that you are alive is because of sukshma. Sukshma itself, what? Is given to you because of causal. Okay? That itself is what? Arranged by all knowledge. And chit is that awareness because of which even the all knowledge is possible. It's very different, right? So that means I have to take you from your meaning to what Shastra wants to convey. Through first using that word and then removing the limited connotations that you have for that word and making you see what Shastra means by that word. That's the whole process. That's what the teacher is doing. From your universe, it takes you to what? What Shastra wants you to see. Through using of the limited words. But in the process of showing you, it takes away the limited connotations one after the other, so that your mind can reach the intended meaning of the word and not your direct meaning of the word. Okay? So every word, according to Sanskrit, it has two meanings. One is vachyartha. Vachyartha is a direct meaning of what you understand. Okay? When I use the word existence, your immediate understanding is existence in time and space. Okay? This is what we call vachyartha, the direct meaning.
Vachyartha.
Vachyartha means the direct meaning of that word. Okay? Then you have what Vedanta wants to take you is from vachyartha to lakshyartha. What is the intended meaning of this word? The intended meaning of this word is not a limited existence, but what? Exactly, a limitless existence, right? So now the teacher's job is to what? Use the words first and then what? Take out the meanings which are not intended. Existence is retained, okay? But the limited connotation of that existence is what? it is removed. So this is what we call Bhaga Tyaga Lakshana. Bhaga Tyaga Lakshana means one aspect of the meaning of the word is retained, right? And the other aspect of the meaning which denotes something limited is taken away. That's how you use a limited word to convey the limitless. Otherwise, it is not possible. Okay? So this is why we say it's a highly sophisticated methodology. It's not just the matter of just saying things. It's not. The teacher not only has to have the vision, but the teacher also must use the words at the right time, at the right place, in the right sequence, so that your buddhi can capture the meanings which are intended by Shastra. And you don't walk out with your own ideas. Okay? So this is, he says, Avyapadesha means it is not the direct meaning of any word, but it has to be what? Indicated for, but it still can be indicated through these, a certain methodology which is adequate to convey the right meaning. Okay?
Just very briefly, in fact, what Neema is saying, the Upanishad itself is using this methodology. Here in this verse itself, first it is saying it is consciousness. But then it is saying, in order to negate the ideas you would have, na bahish prajna. It's not this waking consciousness where you are conscious of the external world. You might think that it is this consciousness which is available at the background during waking time. It's saying, no, that's not what I'm saying. Then it's saying, no, na anta prajna. It's not this, let's say, dream consciousness. In the state of dream, there is also some background consciousness in which the whole dream is unfolding. They're saying, no, don't think that the consciousness I want to speak about is this waking consciousness. Then it's saying, na, what is it saying? Ubaya, so in between, and also prajnanagana. It's not this, also sleep consciousness, where there is also in deep sleep, okay, if you do some EEG, there will be some activity, some waves, okay, there is something going on. So there is a background also, sleeping consciousness. Okay? They say, no, it's not that also. Okay? But then very cleverly, as we saw this morning, B is not A, but A, you say what? B is A, but A is not B. So this consciousness that Upanishad wants to reveal, it's not waking consciousness, it's not sleeping consciousness, it's not dreaming consciousness, it is that which is sustaining both three, waking, dream and sleep consciousness, and making them what they are. It is the satyam of these three, and it has nothing to do with the mind or the physical. You see that? This is how the Upanishad itself is showing us how it is using the word.
Using negation to arrive at the limited.
It is saying, giving the word and removing all what you could misconstrue the word to mean. It's so clever. It's very, very clever.
Right, in the verse, it's doing that Avyapadesha. No, not Vyavhara is no Avyapadesha.
Yeah, this one.
Then he says, then if it is, then where will you find it? If it is not an object, where will you find it? It says Atma Pratyaya Sara. Pratyaya is a thought. Okay? So where will you find it? Sorry. Ekatma Pratyaya Sara. There is only one Atma, one awareness, which is what? Pervaded in all thoughts. Thoughts are many, awareness is only one. Thoughts don't exist without the presence of awareness. Awareness is what? Or pervading the thought. It is not affected by the nature of the thought. Okay. So see it as invariable presence, which, as Surya says, makes all the thoughts happen in the waking and in the dream, and absence of thoughts in the deep sleep. Okay? And itself what? Sustains all three without ever being involved in any of the three. Atmaya pratyaya saram prapancha upashama. Okay? The whole prapancha. What is this prapancha? When I look at this physical world, it is all, I can say it is one physical world, but it is divided. Sanskrit language is amazing. Okay? The whole prapancha, the whole world, when I want to describe, when the language has the noun is declined in 7 cases. Okay? So that means when I am transacting with the world, so who is the one who is transacting with the world? I am. Okay? So there is a first case, the subject. I what? Want is what? The verb. Right? And then immediately want is a transitive verb. So then the next expectation is want. Right? So that means that there is a subject, means Ramaha, that is declined differently. When something is a subject, it is declined in the first case, Ramaha. Okay? I want what? Okay? Which is what? Let's say fruit. So fruit is what? The object. Then how will I cut this fruit? By a knife. That is what? The third case. Okay? Which is what? The instrumental case. By knife. Okay? That is in Sanskrit, the noun is declined into a third case. Okay? For what is what we call for eating or for giving or for offering to Isha, Ishaya. Arpanam, Arpanaya. For giving it to either you or for Isha or for my eating. So that for whose sake is the fruit, that is put in the fourth case. Okay. Now this fruit is falling from where? From the tree. So that means from the fruit which is falling from the tree, right, which is what we call the fifth case, ablative. Okay. Then, at which location? At Rishikesh, locative case. And in between, there is what we call sambandha, okay? Genetive. Genetive is, not only for me, but for Surya's friend. That is, that Surya's friend is put in a genitive. It's a sambandha, sambandha shashti. Okay, so that means the whole language, the nouns are declined in 7 cases. Ramaha, which is the nominative case. Ramam, which is the object. When Rama is an object, he becomes Rama. Okay.
So Rama is going to the forest. Rama will be in the nominative. Lakshmana sees Rama. So Rama here will be in accusative. So it will be Ramam.
Ramam. Lakshmanaha Ramam Pashyati.
Then Lakshmana goes to the forest with Rama. So the with will be in the third case. Ramena.
Lakshmanaha Ramena Saha
Saha.
Vanam Gacchami. Okay. So that means the Rama, the verb, the noun, keeps on declining. Ramaya Namaha. That means unto Rama,
My salutation.
my salutation. Ramat. What? From Rama comes this grace. Fifth case. Ablative. Okay. Ramasya Putram. Rama's son. Sixth case. Sambandha Shashti. Rame.
In Rama I find
in
my
Rama,
joy.
Revelation.
In Rama I
Rame.
find my joy. So Rame.
Hridayam.
Yeah.
So that means the word, the noun Rama is declined in different cases depending upon what? What is the function Rama is doing? And then this is akara ending noun. Then when it is ikara ending noun, again there are 7 declensions, but they are different. When it is ukara ending noun, there are 7 declensions which are different. When there is a long E, the 7 declensions are different. Okay? Then it is not only singular, it is dual and it is plural.
It's more than Latin.
This is all just noun.
More than Latin
More than
and German.
Latin was the most I've learned,
Yeah.
and
Noun,
this is much
and
more.
the same applies to nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, conjunctions, prepositions.
Exactly.
That's a regular.
And then there is something called compound, samasa.
So that's up to you to learn the language. To master it, it's not an easy thing.
It's not an easy thing. Because even the tense, the verb, are not just past, present and future. Okay? Future tenses are of 2 types. One is immediate future and the other one is continuous future and the other one is remote future. So that means you decline the verbs, you give verbs differently, right, to indicate how long in future.
It's very accurate, actually.
Yeah, it's almost like mathematics.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, when you begin to use a language which is so accurate, how does your mind become very accurate? Okay? So it is an ocean. So now, what I mean to say is prapancha. The entire prapancha includes what? All the nouns, right? Acting, all the objects, for whatever objects, right? And what are the instruments which are used to get the objects that we are looking for? Okay? For whose sake we are getting that object? From where we are getting those objects? Okay? In what location we are getting these objects? For whose sake we are getting the objects? This is what we call prapancha. Prapancha means the whole transactional world where all these different activities are taking place. Different actions for different sake, through different things, for different things, from different things, at different locations. This is what we mean by prapancha. The entire, somebody was saying, we are all so busy in life. Then you say, now what are you doing? Actually nothing. But then nobody answers mobiles these days because everybody is busy. We are first so happy that now we have mobile, but now it has become a chore. It is impossible to get anybody on mobile, including myself. I haven't looked at my mobile in I don't know how many days. So I have all these messages. I said, oh my God, I haven't replied to anything. Okay. So therefore, all these different things that we are doing, which are all described by 7 cases of noun, varieties of verb, varieties of objects. The whole thing is what we call what? Present, past, future, immediate future, remote past, immediate past, present, continuous present. All of this is what we call prapancha. Okay? And all these activities happen where? Within what?
Time and space.
Exactly. It happens within time and space framework. What is manifest a few minutes ago becomes manifest now. The way it is manifest, what? Mobile was not there a few years ago. I didn't have any desire of mobile because there was no object called mobile. Then mobile becomes manifest. Then what happens? My desire of mobile which did not exist arises. Right? Then not only it arises, but it keeps changing because now I want iPhone 6. iPhone 4 is old. Right? Constantly engaging in what? Subject, object, through, for, from, at this location, constantly happening within time and space framework. What is this awareness? Is it engaged in this prapancha? No. Okay. Prapancha upashamaha. Not at all. The prapancha cannot take place without it. Being in it, it is always free from the prapancha. Awareness does not get involved in all these activities. This is why, if you remember Uddhav's question, and he says, awareness is the material cause. What did we say? It is vivarta upadana karana. Being in everything, what? It is never getting involved in everything. It's not changing. Okay? So this is where we say prapancha upashama. Without which the prapancha cannot take place, but itself is what? From its own standpoint, what? Never involved in any prapancha at all. Upashama means where the prapancha has resolved. The whole transaction has resolved.
Can we put clear words, prapancha? No.
Sorry?
You explained all these cases and all.
Yeah.
Did I shorten
Prapancha.
it to clear words? No, not really. It's not clear words. It's all
No, because they are
different
forms.
grammatical
No,
activity.
they are forms. No, they are also forms. Prapancha means the entire world and all these different transactions which are going on within this world. That is prapancha.
Okay.
And in the transactions, the placement of different objects are different, right? As I showed by different cases. Prapancha upashamam. Then what is it? Shantam. Okay? Itself, you cannot now, you have to understand. Shantam means what? It is peace. So now can you give an attribute called peacefulness to Atma? No. Because if you gave an attribute of peacefulness, where is the noise coming from? Some other source. Right? So that means both the noise and what? Silence exist because of Atma itself is what? Free from both. Okay. So Shantam cannot be just literally, this is what I said, there is a literal meaning and then there is an intended meaning. This is what the teacher has to take you from literal meaning to intended meaning. Because if you just read the translation, it will just give you the literal meaning, right? Shanti, peace. Then you think, oh, Atma is peace. This is where you make mistakes. This is where you become simplistic in your understanding. You need a teacher who takes you from what? Your vachyartha to lakshyartha. from the direct meaning to the intended meaning. Then it is Shiva. So this is where Surya, when he was explaining Rashna's question about what is Shiva, right? Shiva Linga, right? So then what we explained is, it has got nothing to do with this act of creation or anything. It only means that if you want to represent one form which includes all forms, how do you do that? And itself is formless. How do you do that? It is an ingenious way to create one form, right, within which what all forms can be included. This is what we call Shiva Linga. Lingyate anena iti linga. It's a representation. It represents both things, all forms as well as formlessness. And that is the truth of Ishvara. You can't say Ishvara is only formless, because then where are the forms? Where do you attribute forms to? Right? You can't say it is only forms, because essentially it is formless. So that means in your understanding of Ishvara you have to include both. Then your understanding of Ishvara is complete. Otherwise you think, oh, the ignorant people think that it is a form, and the wise people think it is formless. So that means what? The forms are what now? For wise people, forms are what? Other than Ishvara? You see how many things we say and we don't know what it means. We think we are very clever. Okay. Ishvara is what? All the forms, but essentially what? It is formless. Both. Your understanding of Ishvara is complete when you include both. You can't exclude anything. So this is where is the representation of Ishvara. Okay. Now, Shiva, sorry, go ahead.
I just want to ask you the root meaning of Shiva.
Yeah, Shiva, here is the root meaning. The root meaning of Shiva is that which is auspicious. Okay, so that means in your life, many different things are auspicious. What are some auspicious things that you have come across from the time that you were born till now? Tell me. Sorry?
Birthdays is an auspicious
Yeah,
event.
exactly. Birthday is an auspicious event, right? That's why everybody celebrates it. Nobody thinks.
Festivals.
Sorry?
Festivals.
Festivals are auspicious, right? Very good. So birthdays are auspicious, festivals are auspicious. What else is auspicious? Huh?
Weddings.
Weddings, excellent. That's why what? Not only you celebrate, but you call so many other people to celebrate along with you. So it's an auspicious day. Weddings are auspicious, birthdays are auspicious, festivals are auspicious. You're surrounded by auspiciousness. What else?
Even the home,
Right? So that means there are many auspicious
Symbols.
things. Yeah, the symbols which remind you of the reality are also auspicious. This is why there is a sanctity, right? There is a sanctity when you go to a temple. We just say, yeah, you take bath and you go, right? Why? It's just like any other place. Why do you go there? With the taking bath and properly dressed and all that. Why? Because it represents something. It is a place which reminds you, shifts your mindset from what? Your normal activities to what? Thinking about the cause. It's a representation. So that is why it is auspicious, because it enables the shift of mindset. Okay. So therefore, all these things are all auspicious, but all in different degrees. What is that which is the most auspicious? Huh?
My life.
The most auspicious within your life, because if your life is most auspicious, then so many people, yesterday she was telling me, she had the most interesting suicide cases, right? I mean, the way she was telling me, I was like amazed, right? So that means if it is the most auspicious thing, your life, then still, why so many? In fact, now there was a newspaper in Times of India, that sea-link that they have built to connect Bandra to Worli has become the biggest place where all these suicides take place. Yeah. So now they have very heavy petrol, right? So that means every auspicious thing is what? Kind of relative. What is the most auspicious thing? Who said? Ishvara, right? And what if Ishvara is the most auspicious, but in my understanding of Ishvara, if I exclude myself, then is it the most auspicious? No, because then at times I feel very disappointed by Ishvara. I have been such a big devotee of Ishvara, and why this happened to me? So what is the most auspicious? Huh?
Awareness, consciousness.
Exactly. This is what is written here. Shiva. Because in everything else, there is a relativity.
The truth is everything depends.
Sarah is looking. Okay, what did Neeru answer? So Neeru, now you have to explain yourself better.
Ishvara also has a dependent reality. Depends on awareness. So ultimately the most auspicious, which includes everything would be awareness, consciousness, which has an independent truth and reality. Right?
And which is you. Don't think awareness is something out there.
Yeah.
The
Right?
thing is that each word that we are going through, like Shantam has an opposite, Ashantam, and auspicious has an inauspicious.
Exactly.
And we can say that, auspicious is being used to as the basis of both auspiciousness and inauspiciousness.
Yes.
But is that really
That is
how it
true.
goes?
This is how it goes. But here when we say moksha, who is this Upanishad taught to? For the person who is what? Under the veil. Right? And now that person wants to remove the veil, and that pursuit is what we call moksha. Okay? So now, from the standpoint of the person who removes the veil, what is the most auspicious thing?
To gain knowledge.
To gain knowledge of that awareness, which is the basis of everything. Because in that knowledge is your freedom, the absolute freedom. Because now what I discover about myself is what? I'm not this little tiny individual struggling in the world. Who am I? I'm the awareness, which is the very basis of the entire prapancha. Okay? So that means that is the most auspicious when I understand that the real I is limitless. What more? Can you improve on a statement that I am limitless? You can't. You can't have anything bigger than. You can have bigger, then you can still have bigger, you can still have bigger, okay? But you have what? I am limitless, you cannot improve, because you can't go higher than limitless. So that means it is the most auspicious thing. It's not relative. For the person who is what? Inquiring into the nature of reality, and then what? Discovering one's own true nature. It's the most auspicious. This is why we pray before the class. Please let my study be brilliant. Let me understand the meaning correctly. Then you pray. Now this morning Surya told me that he made you all chant Gayatri Mantra. Give me the clarity so that I can understand this amazing knowledge accurately. Then you can have a prayer, Asatoma Satkamaya. From all these, my confusion, take me to the reality. From ignorance, take me to knowledge. From mortality, take me to immortality. Okay? And that is, you can't better that. That's why it is the most auspicious. But from this standpoint of awareness, as you said, right, there is no prapancha. So there is no auspicious or inauspicious. Both happen within prapancha, itself is free from both. You can also say that.
But we would rather indicate him through the positive rather
Exactly.
than from the
Because
negative.
it's stopped from your own pursuit, your own search for freedom.
Like this shantam was indicating that your search is for what?
For peace.
Yeah.
For peace or tranquility.
Yeah.
But this is what is, so this is your starting point.
Right.
Your starting point also is you want something conducive, something pleasant, something auspicious. Okay? So this is the starting point. But the meaning then of the word that we are using, same again. We are using a word and going beyond the word. And saying it includes both what? Silence and or tranquility and everything. And activity, agitation. Auspicious, conducive, and also unpleasant and difficult, challenging. So both are contained within what? And this is the most, let's say, auspicious. You would say.
For me to know.
To know.
Because unless I know this, I'm caught in
You're
some-
caught in
the
this.
prapancha.
See both.
Yeah. Okay. So it is what we say, Shivam Advaitam. What is this Advaitam? Non-dual. Finally non-dual. How do you arrive at non-dual? By just having silence and not thinking? No? Very nice. So how do you arrive at non-dual, Sarah? She is very clear that it is not by not thinking.
I don't know. I'm still finding.
What do you think?
Well, it's being conscious that you are all, you are everything.
Excellent. Excellent. Right? Everything depends upon awareness for its existence. Right? So that means, but awareness is what? Independently existing. So everything depends upon existence means what? Mithya. And Atma is what? Satya. Atma is the only independently existing reality. Everything else has a dependent existence. So please now don't think that there are two things. One is independent and the other one is dependent. Okay? Are there two things called table and wood?
So you mean at every level down here it is non-dual,
Exactly.
right?
Every form, right, when you think is a tangible form, okay, there is another form, and then there is another form, and then there is another form.
So doesn't that mean duality?
No, because at all these forms, they all have a dependent reality. They resolve in this awareness. So, and also one thing, right? When the particles combine and make into an atom, the all knowledge is there or not? Don't think it is only down below. Please understand, that's a very good question.
So
Right? Then when atoms combine and become a rock, that all knowledge is still there. Don't think it is just
even
at
that is
every
non-dual.
level, wherever there is all knowledge. The all knowledge is all along. Don't think it is at the bottom. And wherever there is all knowledge, there is awareness as is truth. So that means awareness is at every level, though not just down below.
So
means literally when one thinks of dual and non-dual. So as Ishvara has this Shakti which manifests Maya, that's not duality.
No,
No.
no.
Because it resolves in.
It all resolves in one thing, which is awareness.
So even that is non-dual. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean that's dual
No.
in the literal sense
No,
too.
because when there are two, you can't say that you can't because there is a difference when wood is just wood and the wood is a table. This is what we call creation. The wood is just a wood, and then the wood is now appearing as table is what we call creation.
So there are no two things, because if you take the wood out, where is the table?
Exactly.
So all just sucks into
Into
awareness.
this
So there's no
awareness.
duality.
There's no duality.
Also, we can say that there are no real shades of it, as in the world, in objects, we have, even if there is one color red, then red can have many shades to it, but awareness, maybe just, there is no real, there are no shades.
Shades of awareness. Absolutely right. Right? Because what gives the shades of red is what? The all knowledge which arranges the same things differently, slightly differently. Okay? But this awareness is something which is not subject to that. It is because of which this is possible. Okay? So that means before, when we say before creation, what existed? Wood. After creation, when there is one table, what exists?
Wood still exists.
Wood still exists. And what about table? If I take out the wood, is table existing? No. I create million tables.
And chairs, and coffee table, and big table, dining table, everything in wood.
This is what we call creation. Okay. Forms many, varied, different, with different functions, different sizes, different characteristics, obvious. Okay. But if I put my attention on wood, how many things will I find? When I see millions of different tables and chairs and everything made up of wood, how many things will I find? I'll find only one, because the forms, I'm not denying the forms. It's not that I have to collapse, I have to destroy the table, I have to destroy the chair, I have to destroy the coffee table, I have to destroy the bed to come to one wood. While all these different forms are there, if I look at the forms, it seems what? Many. But if I look at the content which makes every form what it is, how many do I find? One. This is Advaita. When I collapse, which is what we call the unmanifest, okay, and I make it back into one wood, how many? One. Then when I recreate the wood, recreate different forms with the same wood, how many?
Many.
Many in terms of form, but in terms of content?
One.
Exactly. So that means the forms come, the forms go,
Content remains.
one awareness always remains. Purnamadav, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnam Udachyate, Purnasya, Purnamadaya, Purnameva Avashishyate. From this one whole, you create many. How many are there? Only one. Because the forms are many, but if you focus on content, how many? Still one. You collapse all the forms. What will remain? The same one. You add to this one and you subtract from this one. How many will remain? One. Indian mathematics.
So you're saying we're all the same consciousness, Just in different human forms.
Exactly.
The spirit of oneness.
Exactly. This is the vision of oneness.
Not just human form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every other form.
So even
And every
at the
other
form
form,
level,
actually
there
it
is no
collapses. It collapses and it collapses in that awareness. And in between that form and awareness, there is an in-between link point, which is what we call Ishvara, the all-knowledge, which makes that form possible.
So Neema, even at the form level, there is no duality.
No.
So even at the Jagat and Jiva level, there is
there's
no
no
duality
duality, no.
because it all
It
collapses
into one.
Means when you go to find the content,
Exactly.
so it is the content. Which
Yes, absolutely. Because it's only the content which counts. Everything else is just forms. The forms have no real substance. That's why it is Advaita, okay? And that is what he says, Chaturtham Manyate. That is the fourth. The fourth aspect of Atma is really what Upanishads want you to understand. The rest was what? Just a methodology to take you to what Upanishads wanted you to see. Okay. This is what Saha Atma, Saha Vigneya. That Atma needs to be known. Okay. Now, the next verse we will see in the next class.
I can't believe I've understood this.
Can't believe you understood this, right? Because he was saying, my God, I was reading this and I like, what is this, right?
So well taught, really.
So Manyate here, Chaturtha Manyate, this fourth aspect to deliberate on.
No, the Chaturtham Manyante means this is what
The
is
fourth
considered
aspect.
to be the fourth.
By the
wise
by
people.
the people who
The
know.
people who know the
The people
reality.
who know Manyante consider.
This is the reality which needs to be known.
As far as understanding, this fourth part is sometimes called Turiya.
Yeah, but this is the big problem with this what we call Turiya, because you think that there are three, which is what? The physical, subtle and causal, and then you have to rise above it, right? And there is a fourth category called Turiya, okay? Which is something which is beyond.
It's not in the Upanishad mentioned.
We have never, the Upanishad does talk about, in fact it says that reality is not beyond in the sense that it is not away from the first three in time and space, pervading everything, it is free from it. This is how Turiya has to be understood. Very big discussion by Adi Shankaracharya.
But Gaudapada is using, I think, Turiya.
Yeah, he's using, but he's making
very
it very
clear.
clear what is meant by Turiya.
We'll see now the commentary. You will see.
Atma is awareness.
Yeah, Atma, when I say I am, then I am, what is the real nature of I am? Awareness.
Now, over there it's Aham Brahmasmi.
Yes.
Now you can see that in different light.
Exactly.
You can read 1,000 times.
I am Brahma.
So Atma and Paramatma are the same.
1,000 times, 100, lakh times.
Paramatma does know.
Yeah, but see, you're right, it is true, but the biggest problem is people don't even know what is Atma. People don't know what is Paramatma, and then they make this equation, and they have no idea of what am I talking about when I mean each of these terms. That's why Upanishad very, very specifically defines all the terms and takes you through the whole thing so the equation is properly understood, right? Because Atma, what do I mean by Atma? Which Atma am I talking about? Am I talking about what I now understand myself to be, or that one, or at the causal level? What am I talking about? And when I'm talking about Paramatma, what am I talking about?
So Upanishad will only use the word Atma.
Okay? No, it does use Paramatma, but it uses, that's what I'm saying. We use these words, but we define them. And we define them and we do this leading process where you see what is said by Upanishad. Otherwise, if I just use those words and if the teacher is not creating proper meanings and the proper leading, you walk out with your own ideas of first of all what is Atma, what is Paramatma, how they are connected, then all it's left to your imagination. So that means the Upanishads are using those words, but they are used in a very specific manner, and then there is a lot of leading which is done for people to make sense of the situation.
Just like what we just did.
Exactly. Right? So that's what. So that means in that what if you say Atma is what? This Jiva is equated to what is Paramatma? Ishvara. And what is the point of resolution? Satyam, Dhamma, Ananta. Yeah?
So Paramatma would be equated to Ishvara, and they both resolve in
Satyam,
awareness.
Dhamma. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om